Welcome to Ecclesia number 12. Thank you for joining us. It's been a couple of weeks, it's end of the month. We have quite a few things to discuss. So, welcome to this broadcast, and I'll be demoing a couple of apps. And one of the things I should note that the demo, while I'm demoing this, it's not in release state yet. So, but we will be announcing it via tweet that it's ready to go. We'll be redeploying the network, so there'll be some changes that you will see if you were to look at the demo right now after the AMA. So we'll announce it once we get it redeployed, because we're doing some last minute fixes. That doesn't mean all the bugs are ironed out, but you'll be able to at least go to it, check it out, and be able to test it out yourself. I'm assuming I'm live here. I don't see anybody on the chat side, but if you're live, then what we can do is I'll do a preamble on where we are with mainnet activity, and go from there. Okay. I don't see any chat activity. I'm hoping that I'm live. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, let me. I guess let me repeat. Looks like the internet connection is not the best for whatever reason. So yeah. So what I was saying is that that we are going to talk about. For some reason, the internet connection is bad. I don't know why. Should be good. All right. Okay. So what I was saying is that we will release the apps sometime today, and we will tweet them out so that you guys can look at the apps. And right now I will demo the apps, but there are going to be changes that are done to the apps, and the network will be redeployed. So I ask you not to test it currently after AMA, but wait until we announce it on our Telegram channel and on Twitter. So what we want to do is I want to talk about mainnet. I just want to briefly take a look at the number of issues that we have. Let's see. Actually, there we go. This is the, for some reason, the, okay, for some reason it's really slow. My computer is frozen. Okay. I think what's happening. Okay. Okay, so something, I think, because I had the apps going on, there were it was slowing things down on my end because I had quite a few things open. Sorry about that. So anyway, let me talk through the backend issues. We have about 60 issues left, and as you can see, there's about 20 that expected to be done this week. We're going at a rate of 15 to 20 per week, and we expect all the issues to close in probably 2 to 3 weeks. So the mainnet, the couple of things that took longer than expected, and still we expect things to take a little bit longer than we thought, because we uncovered a couple of a couple of bugs. I wouldn't say they're big bugs, but there are bugs related to the blobber. So that will delay us a bit. So what we're thinking is that we want to close the issues that are related to the blockchain. As you can see on Sprint board, I don't know, my computer is really slow. When I tap into it, nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. This is zero chain. As you can see, there are quite a few. There's only like so we're feeling pretty good about the blockchain, and so we may end up releasing that first. Okay, this is not working out. This is too slow. Okay, let's go back to the scene. Okay, yeah, so the mainnet, we expect, so what our plan is to first release the apps, and we're starting with Atlas and Bolt. We'll be releasing that today, and then it'll be followed up by Vault and Chimney and Blimp, and then Chalk. So that's kind of the sequence of all the apps. We want you guys to, we have tested it, and my feeling is that the testing that we have done is good, but it's not rigorous testing. It's something that the community can help us with. I know I have done some testing, more than what our PMs have done, and Tiago has done the same thing. But I feel that it's not comprehensive, because there are the things that people will do to break the system, and I think that's good for the community to do it rather than us working on it. So that's why we're releasing all the apps first. So the plan is to release all the apps in sequence so that we can kind of manage the fixes and get correct on the deployment, as well as on the network, because there are backend issues as well as front end issues. And then we want to focus on releasing the blockchain. So the active set, bring up of the active set is almost completed. It'll be complete this week. And there were some fixes that we needed to do for the active set deployment to make it easier. And I think we have done that. So that will be done this week, and then next week we are ready. But I'm not sure we will do the active set. We will turn on the active set until we release all the apps, and then we will and also merge some of the code that we are waiting on. There are three pieces that we are waiting on. One is the transaction fee that needs to be merged in. Second is the blocks management that needs to be merged in. I'm hoping that we can merge them in this week or next week. There has been a delay with both of them, and there are only a couple of guys that do this, so that's what the delay is about, and they're fairly involved code. So that's those are the two big pieces, and then there is the blobber piece, which, as I mentioned, there's quite a bit of work that's involved in making sure the blobber, the interaction between client and blobber and blockchain is done properly, and there's no data loss. And part of releasing these apps is actually to test how good the network is, because we will encounter situations that we haven't encountered before. So that's why we want to release the apps, then look at the situation, fix all the bugs related to the apps, which would be also on the backend side, and then focus on releasing the blockchain part of mainnet. And then we will add the blobbers in. It's blobber is the blobber portion of the network doesn't have to be brought in right at the beginning. So we can release the mainnet with the blockchain and then add in the blobber. Obviously, anybody can turn on the network, but we want to basically delay that aspect of the release. So so that's kind of the status. We're looking at mainnet delivery in April, and blobber, and this is without the blobber, and then addition of the blobber would be after that. That it could be end of April or beginning of May. Now, having said that, there will be assignment. There will be PR release associated with our app, so that we encourage other people to look at our apps before we go live with mainnet. That's just to test, just to have more people look at the apps and test it. Now, what I want to do is go through the questions first, the questions raised for the AMA, and then I'll demo the apps if I can, because it seems my computer seems to be locking up. All right, so I think let me answer the questions that are at first. Any updates regarding audits? Yeah, I mean, we'll be working with, as I said, a couple of audit companies that will take a look at it, at the code. Again, these are simple code that they will look at. We don't expect, our expectations is very low from the audits, because we know the code more than the people in the audit who can sort out. So it's more for marketing reasons that we're doing the audit. It'll be, we believe so. When mainnet, as I mentioned, it'll be sometime in April and May. So it'll be a phased release. It'll be a blockchain first. Make sure the blockchain aspects, the wallet aspects, the Bolt, Atlus, all of those apps are working perfectly. And then we will release the blobber. When will the next raise take place, before or after the mainnet launch? We plan to do the raise after the mainnet launch. So that's generally the because that way we take out any technology risk, product risk, and also market risk. We'll see what the reception of the product is. We think it'll be great in terms of the reception of the product that we have. It's truly different from what we have, what's out there, even in the centralized space. I don't think there's a parallel to what the products that we have. Okay, do you plan to have a raise this year? Yes, of course, we want to raise this year. Again, this is an equity raise. This is not a token raise or anything like that. So it'll be think of us as a SaaS company, a software as a service company. So it's a typical software company that will raise through equity, through standard VCs. Once we release mainnet, is essentially based on our products, and the products are basically subscription driven. So as like any other product. So it's a very standard, very simple business model. Let's see. Let me look at the questions now that Diego sent me. Some reason my browser is like locked. Okay. Okay, the question, is there a fiat on-ramp, off-ramp partner to help drive adoption through the apps? Currently we are taking a step back on the partnership for on-ramp and off-ramp because of all the banking issues that, as you know, has been quite publicized, and also regulatory issues. So what we're doing is that we're gonna have the DEX tool, which is MetaMask, using MetaMask to convert ETH to ZCN, and that tool will be available for all the apps to on-ramp and off-ramp crypto to ZCN. So that's the That's what we're gonna do, because the assumption is that everybody has crypto. There's, I think there's like 20 million people using crypto every day, or on a regular basis. So I think that's a pretty good size market to start with. In terms of credit card, that's something we will incorporate once we sort out the banking situation, because we don't want to partner with somebody that's going to go out of business or will cancel processing. An example is signature went down, so we don't know if the credit card processing would be available through them, because most of the partners we were talking to go through Signature Bank. So that's an issue. Second question, when will the app's open source be released? So we don't anticipate the release to be anytime soon. It'll be released at some point, but we're in no hurry to release it. And I don't see the reason for releasing it. We will have we will open source a hackathon version of it, so that people can develop applications that are based on the code that we have developed for iOS app, Android, as well as web app. So they will have components that they can use from our open source hackathon app, and that will be open source. Anybody can use the code, copy the code, or whatever. But there's no point releasing the entire all the apps code base just yet, because we want to make sure it's first of high quality, because it's something to be released in open source needs to be high quality. And also we don't want to encourage people to do copycat of our web apps especially, and then release it on another site, and then we have another issue to deal with. So we need to be doing it carefully. Question number 3, what is the advertising budget for the first 180 days post launch? It'll be we'll be doing a lot of hackathons. We have a budget for that, although most of the hackathons are partnerships that are actually complementary, because they want to have our solution on our with our SDK. So most of the hackathons will be complementary. Some are going to be paid, and then there are prizes, right? So we're going to set aside quite a few tokens for hackathon. It'll be in probably at least 1 million, if not more. And then we will also have storage, free storage, obviously, from the network, as well as for enterprises we'll give them free storage. That's from the team tokens. We will also have incentives for referrals. So if you refer, you get tokens for our app. So that's something that's also going to be in 1 million. So we have a budget for each of this in terms of tokens. In terms of USD, there will be some budget on getting it started in terms of advertisement, but most of it we expect it to be organic growth through tokens and through referrals and through hackathons and things like that. Question 4, where will the liquidity be provided and to what exchange? So liquidity is something that we are. I know the next question is the liquidity. How much liquidity will be provided by the team? So questions: will liquidity be provided and to what exchange? And how much liquidity will be provided by the team? We don't want to, as Zero Chain Zero Chain Corp, we don't want to get involved. We are a SaaS company. We don't want to get involved with liquidity. And my personal opinion is that liquidity is a function of people buying and selling and awareness. As more people are aware, there will be more traders. And as there are more traders, there will be more liquidity. and you will find buyers at price point. It's a question of what price point do you value the token to be, or do you think the token to be? Some of it is at this point is speculation, but once we our mainnet, it'll be driven primarily by storage on the network. So there's a mathematical basis for it, and I believe the liquidity won't be a factor. Question 7, can you confirm there are enough funds to keep the project going? If so, then for how long? Yeah, we have enough funds. The funds are a question of how many people we have and how fast you want to grow. We have a lot of developers on our team right now, and we plan to keep growing. And of course, as we keep growing, our burn rate increases. So it's important that we finish the mainnet, get the products out, and raise another round to keep growing. So it's not about how long we have funds for. We need to basically get the mainnet and products out so we can raise more and have a growth path so that we can hire more people. All of these things take time and money. So we need to have the product out, and we need to raise right after the product release. So that's the current plan, and we have enough funds to keep the project going, for a year or so. But we want to expand, we want to accelerate. We don't want to stay where we are. We want to accelerate. Question 8, AMA. There was a question about 10 million missing ZCN. Let me explain the confusion. 200 millions have been minted, 60 were sold. If you look at the top wallets, I see addresses 40, 30, and 4 addresses holding 15 million, totaling 130 million. Where did the 10 millions go? So my, I had this stuff. I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't looked at all of that. It looks like you guys have. And the way I would look at it is that where over the 5-year period, there were a lot of people that we partnered with, including developers and outside partners that would subsidize payments because they got tokens. So there's probably 200 to 300 people out there that we gave tokens to. I would assume that the minimum is 10K, and the maximum I think we've given out. The maximum given out is quite a bit, but to a certain developer. But I would say on average it's about 50 to 100K. So because the partnership was for a long term, and it's been 5 years. So if you do the math, I think the 10 million, you will find that went to those partners and developers and advisors. So that we have advisors, partners, developers, all of them receive tokens. Okay, so question number 9, can you speak to the speed of the network last month? You showed we were faster than AWS with small files, but slower with large files. Any improvements? So we have a developer working on the large file. We will get to the results of it probably next week, and so we will share that information in either the next AMA or next week. Again, some of the AMAs will be more frequent than others. We'll see. Like for instance, if you were to release Vault next week, then I'll have an impromptu AMA to go through the app to showcase what we have for Vault, and then at that time we can talk about the speed of the network. I think that's all the questions that we have. Again, as I mentioned, the plan is to release all the apps in sequence, have them sorted out by the community, and you get to kind of play around with it, see what we have done. This would be, I think, if you look at the most of the blockchains, they release the blockchain, but there isn't an app associated with it until sometime later. So in our case, we're going to have several apps associated with it from the get-go. And you get to try it out and you get to play around with it. So it's exciting. So without, if there are no other, let me see if there's any other questions. Okay. All right. Okay, for then. I don't. So there was a question. I see there's a question on a smart contract that was audited and detected some vulnerabilities. I don't know about that question, so I'll take a look at that and I can respond to you after I take a look. Okay, so what we can do now is go to the browser and oops. So this is the I think. Oh, it's really. It's slow. Let me close this. Okay, let's do, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is okay, good. Bold, oh gosh. Okay, so something's happening. Hang on, let me figure this out. There's something happening with my computer. You know what I'll do, because my computer is like totally not responsive for some reason. I don't know if it is because I have multiple things open, but let me see if I can get going with it. Okay. Okay, that looks better. Okay. 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 All right, let's try it again. Oh, I see this one. Why is that happening? Ah, okay. Now we're on setting. Okay, so this is the Bolt app, and as you can see, so we have this is the wallet page. This is the stake page. As you can see, these are the activities that we have done, recent stake transactions. If you go to activity, you will see all the activities, right? And you can see the details on Explorer. So this is from my wallet. This is a transaction that we have done. You can view it on the Explorer. And I'll go through the Explorer in a bit. This is the claim reward. We have basically claimed the reward on a stake. And you can see this is the block, right? And these are the transactions, 9 transactions in the block and so forth, right? And again, I'll go through that in a bit. So let's go back to Bolt. We'll close this. And what I'll do is go to settings. The first thing you do is basically go to settings. Now, one of the things is that, you know, we're fixing a couple of things. A couple of this, you can basically upload a icon for your avatar. You can change your username. And it should reflect. Now there are some issues, I know they're fixing it, but it should fix itself. For Safari it's not showing up, but for if you go to Chrome, this icon will show up. For whatever reason, Safari is not showing up. So the next thing is basically you go to faucet, you can get a token from the faucet, and then you can go to wallet, and you will see the token being received. As you can see, the token is received from the wallet, right? You can view this activity, you can click on it, and if you want to see the details, you can go to the Explorer, and you can see that the transaction was minted on a block. It came from a smart contract, which is the faucet smart contract, and the value is 1 ZCN. So, okay, so let's close this. So that's basically, you get the tokens from a faucet, and then what you want to do then is let's stake it, right? So let's say I want to add stake to a miner. I go to a miner, I can select among these 3 miners. There are 3 miners. Again, this will be more icon and URL driven once we do the backend changes. That's already done, it needs to be redeployed. So let's say I select this guy. It says it has 22 ZCN, so I go there and I want to stake on it. It says current stake is 22 ZCN, and says, okay, I'll stake on it. I'll put 1 token in, and then it says add new stake, 1 ZCN. The total stake will be 23. Currently, it has a stake of 22 ZCN. So again, if I stake 1 ZCN, the portion of the reward that I'll receive is 1 out of 23. So you confirm, you have submitted stake for 1 ZCN. You can view it in Explorer. So you can see the transactions that just happened. This is a stakes transaction, again, from the wallet. That's my wallet to the smart contract. So this is a smart contract. And if you go to this wallet, you will see that the wallet balance has 335. The staking balance is right now 0. It should be actually 1. For some reason it's not updating, so that needs to be sorted out. But you can see all the transactions that this wallet has done. This is my wallet, by the way, on Bolt, but you're seeing all the transactions that I've done. As you can see, there are faucet transactions, stakes transactions. I've unstaked, I have claim reward, and so forth, right? So a bunch of transactions that I've done. Okay, so if I go back to stake page, you can see on the stake page, I have these are the things that I've staked. I have staked 1 ZCN, and I can go here and I can say, okay, I want to claim the reward. Okay, if there's any reward right now, the reward is 0. Or I can remove the stake. So I can remove stake. Let's say I want to remove the stake. It will automatically remove all the stake that you have. There's no partial amount you can remove, but you can always add more to the current stake that you have. So I say, okay, I'll remove stake. So I confirm and remove the stake, and it says stake removed successfully. As you can see, it goes dark here in terms of the icon. So and then this is the stake amount. This is the claimable word. If I want to claim awards, I can select which providers I've staked. So I've staked on a number of providers. I can claim this reward that I've staked earlier to another provider. And so if I want to claim this reward, it says claiming rewards. And then it will say that it's done successfully. So it has claimed reward, right? So now it's also it's staked, right? So if I want to manage the stake, so let's say I want to remove all the tokens, so I can, this is the one that I have staked on a charter. I want to remove the stake, so I remove everything. So now it says stake removed successfully, and I have 0 stake amount. So I have 0 stake amount, 0 claimable staking award down the road in future, because I have removed all my stake. Now, if I go back to my wallet, you will see that the balance has increased. My staked balance is 0, but my balance has increased to 361. And then it gives you the USD of the balance. Again, some of them, we did some changes that are not reflected right now that I'm demoing, but you will see them when you go through it. Probably later today, we'll announce it, or tomorrow. Now, the buy ZCN is through, as I mentioned, this is through DEX. The credit card is coming soon. We're waiting for a couple of things to kind of normalize in the regulatory and financial industry before we take on a partner or work with a partner on the credit card. And we want to work generally with a bigger bank, big bank that is going to be sustainable for long term. But then again, you never know with the banks. With Silicon Valley Bank, who would have thought that they would go under? So buy with ERC is an option where you go, is the option that we're providing. You need Chrome. Right now I'm using Safari, so I cannot demo that, but this is something you guys can look at. But basically you need to connect to a MetaMask, and then it will connect to MetaMask, and then through MetaMask we convert the ZCN, we convert the ETH to ZCN, and then bridge it over to our native chain, and then we can bridge it back. So you have sell ZCN is the same flow. You're connecting to MetaMask, and then you're basically bridging over to the Ethereum network and getting the ETH back. So we have a two-way on-ramp and off-ramp solution for you guys. So that's all I wanted to kind of show on. And of course you can send, receive. So if I wanted to send from my wallet to an address, then I can send it. That's pretty simple to see. So let's say this is the receive address. So I copy it. Let me see the send. And I'll change. Okay, this UI needs to be changed. So now I'm sending, let's say, 1 ZCN, and it'll be sending this token. So there's some UI issue, as you can see. It's beyond the box that we need to fix. So now it's confirmed that you can 1 ZCN has been sent to this address. You can view the details. So you can see the recent activity. So I go view details, and I view on the Explorer. You can see the sent token. So I've sent from my wallet to another wallet that I've kind of randomly chosen to send. Okay. So that's Bolt. Now on Atlus, I want to kind of show you what we have. Again, there are changes that, as I mentioned, like the storage cost is 0. That's a bug that we have fixed already, but it's not showing because the network needs to be redeployed. So this is Atlus that shows the, you have a search bar. You can search based on block, round number, transaction hash, block hash, allocation ID. It shows you at a high level what the size of the cloud is on Zeus, what the average storage cost is, and then it kind of refreshes all the. So you have the current ZCN price, total value locked within the network, and the total value locked is basically a function of the pools, storage pools, miner, sharder, as well as write and read pool and challenge pool. So it's basically everything that's locked on the network is what we are representing here. And then we show the top blobbers, and then you can see the quality scored. The quality score is based on past challenges. And then we show how much is staked on it. the total rewards it has got. So, and then the total capacity. So they have the capacity. This is the allocated capacity, allocated storage of the total capacity that is staked on the network. Okay. This staked ZCN is actually incorrect. This is not, as you can see, this capacity is 10 TB. So there's something wrong here that needs to be corrected, or is already corrected. It's just not updated on the network. If I go to server map, it shows where the blobbers are located. And then again, the same table shows up here. If you go to any of the blobbers, like if I were to go to the blobber, it will show you kind of more information about the blobber, what are the transactions that are happening on the blobber, right? So as you can see, there are some errors that we are fixing. As I said, so there are quite a few bugs on the blobber side that we are fixing. That's on the network side. That's the one that we think will take a little longer than expected, because we were more focused on the blockchain side of things. And we have fixed those now. We are fixing the blobber side, which we uncovered. There are quite a few bugs, but we hope to, again, we're doing this in parallel. We hope to get them done in April. If you look at the charts, there is the market charts showing the price, circulating supply, market cap, total ZCNs, total staked ZCN, total allocated storage, value locked, total value locked. So this is about the storage value locked, meaning this is something that the clients have locked to purchase storage. This is how much staked on the network. This includes miners, sharders, and blobbers. And the total value is basically a combination of these two. Total blobber rewards, again, there's some problem with the with gathering the data. This is fixed. You will see it fixed when we update the network. Same thing with the miner sharder rewards and the total rewards ZCN. So that's on the market charts. Network charts, we have transactions per day. These are actually correct. Utilization, this is the utilization is the used storage as a percentage of allocated storage. This is also, I believe this is also correct, because as the storage capacity grew, the utilization fell because there's not as much data being put on to this network. Network quality score, it's close to 100% because all the challenges we're passing and so forth. Unique addresses are growing. Block count is, of course, growing linearly. Storage charts, again, something wrong with the average price in getting the data, because there is a price associated with the blobbers. It's just not reflected. And this is the allocated storage, total allocated storage, distributed among the blobbers. And then there are network daily allocations. So this is the amount of storage that's growing as people are allocating storage. So from Atlus, you can pretty much see what's going on the Zeus network and figure out what the price point should be, and then determine liquidity, because there is a price point, as I mentioned. Liquidity and price point are kind of based on number of people on the network, and also the perception of what the price should be. And the price should be based on basically the tokens on the network. It's mathematical, okay? If you go to the blockchain side of things, you can see these are the transactions that are the recent transactions. If you go to the blocks, you will see the recent blocks that are coming through. And you can go to any of them. You can see the transactions per block. This is 2 transactions per block. One of them is fees, one of them is challenge. That's pretty much normal. There are 10 transactions on this one. As you can see, there are 10 transactions. Quite a few downloads which have error because there's no token in the read pool probably. and we have a read price associated with our blobbers on. So it really depends on how the network was set up. So we need to kind of make the reads free in order to have no errors. And then you have the fee transaction and block reward transaction, right? So yeah, so that's I think that's about well, the last thing, maybe the service providers. You can see the blobbers, which you have already looked at. These are the sharders, and then these are the miners. Okay, so I think I've gone through pretty much everything. You can go through it once we, release these apps on via tweet or on Telegram. You can obviously, you've seen the URL, so you can go through it too. But it's not. It's gonna be redeployed, and it's not ready yet. All right, so that's the demo. Hope you enjoyed the demo. It's a live demo. I know you guys asked for a live demo, and I wanted to do it for a while, but the network always gets redeployed, and things are always constantly changing. So now we're fairly stable. There are some last-minute changes that will be put in, and the network will be deployed again. So watch for a tweet from us, and then try our apps out. We're looking forward to the feedback. We're looking forward to any bugs that you have not any bugs that you've uncovered, other than the ones that we have already gone through. So those are the ones we are fixing now. But we look forward to it, and hope you enjoy the playing around with the app. And I think that's all the questions we have. Okay, so there's one question: is buy sell linked to Uniswap, or is it the custom AMM? So this is linked. Yes, it's linked to Bancor. I believe Bancor is the primary, and then Uniswap is the fallback. So it really depends on because right now we have the most liquidity on Bancor, so that's why we chose Bancor. But that's not to say we're not gonna select based on the most efficient path. So that's something we will sort out later on. But right now it's all Bancor. All right, so that concludes our AMA. Look forward to the next AMA. As I mentioned, it could be impromptu, so it could be something that we decide to have early on to showcase Vault and Blimp and Chimney if we have those ready by next week. So keep looking at the news channel and announcement channel and Twitter, and we will let you guys know when the next AMA is. Okay. Till then, thank you, and have